Hello. Hello, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are at 5:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 a.m. Pacific Time. So if any Pacific Coast time zone people are watching, cheers to you at this early overnight hour. So what do we have for Dawn Busters this morning? Very exciting, delicious products. Well, unfortunately, no. They're not exciting and they're not delicious. They're tolerable, I guess you could say. And that's not, well, that's not anything to get too delighted about. But they do exist. I did buy them. I figure it won't hurt to check them out. Oh, let me clean the top of this one off. I guess I fried too many things in here in the kitchen, and maybe the oily smoke gets on. I believe that's it. People come to my house and they'll say, it's so neat and clean. And I try to keep it neat and clean. Started dusting for June yesterday, the feather duster, dust. But I know you didn't come on to this so you could hear me talk about keeping my house neat and clean. So, Sunny Brook. I do know a little bit about this. It was introduced in 1891. There was, and perhaps still is, a Sunny Brook straight Kentucky whiskey, bourbon whiskey, excuse me, straight bourbon whiskey. We know there is the blended Kentucky blended whiskey because I have it in my hand, and I bought this at Big Red's Liquor on US Highway 90 business route eastbound in Orange, Texas in March 2020. It was an inexpensive product for a whole liter. Didn't cost much. But I think it was $6.49. I'm saying $8.49, but I think I'm confused. I think it was like, I don't know, like $8.06 after tax, something like that. It was really cheap. Okay. I do know it's Beam-Suntory. Not that you'd ever find that out on their website. They used to show it on the website. That's how I know. They used to talk about Sunny Brook. Oh, it's so good. And Julius Kessler blended whiskey. Oh, it's so fantastic. Actually, Julius Kessler isn't bad. I can get that at Dorgnac's in Metairie, Louisiana. So yes, I can get it in Louisiana, but not in my town. Can't get Sunny Brook anywhere in Louisiana to my knowledge. All right. We do know it's aged 4 years. Well, let me correct that. We know that the straight whiskeys, which are almost invariably bourbon, but they might be just straight whiskey, like Early Times. Why is Early Times not a bourbon? It's aged in used barrels. It used to be a straight bourbon, but they went the cheaper route. So these could be things like Early Time, but I don't know if Beam-Suntory actually makes a straight whiskey that's aged in used barrels. See what I'm saying? So my assumption or my theory is that it is Jim Beam, which is a 4-year aged bourbon whiskey, right? Straight bourbon whiskey. And that's blended with unaged grain spirits, grain neutral spirits in bottle. And that's why they can sell it cheap, because the grain spirits, the 80%, or you want to call it moonshine, which is exactly what it is. That's a nickname for grain neutral spirits, moonshine, corn liquor, clear, unaged. All whiskey's clear. It's like brandy. Brandy's clear until you put it in a charred barrel. But they age brandy in used barrels, so it doesn't get dark enough. So they add caramel color to it. Now, I know they got some people running around in the dark corners of the internet and some in the bright out front of the internet, front yard, screaming about caramel color will give you cancer. If you think about that long enough, then you'll realize how it doesn't make any sense. How you could take sugar and brown it and mix it with products and make it brown. That's going to make you have cancer. Browning sugar. If that's the case, there's no hope. You should give up. But anyway, if you're fixated on those kind of things, then you probably worship the creator, the creation. Excuse me. You probably worship the creation more than the creator. You know what I'm saying? You're too clung to this life, which is fleeting and short. We know. Okay. Dylan Blue says, hey there, excited for the review. Been drinking rum cocktails recently with the heat here in Minnesota. Yeah, there's a lot of heat there. I had some Buffalo Trace on the rocks a week ago. That was quite good. I'm glad to hear that. I saw Buffalo Trace yesterday, bottles of it unopened. So here's the Sunnybrook. There you go. Kansas City Southern Railroad, eastbound. They're usually eastbound this time of day at the break of dawn. Now in the evening, around 2 o'clock in the evening, 2:30, they'd be westbound. I don't know their schedule, but anyway. They've got some people, that's their hobby, to go out and take notes of which trains pass when. I don't know why. People in England would say, they're on the spectrum, they're on the spectrum. Because I noticed that a lot of English people like to talk about autism spectrum for some reason. Anyway, so that's Sunnybrook. I think it's probably Jim Beam blended with at a 20-80 ratio, 20% Jim Beam and probably 80% grain alcohol. You said that would make it very light. Wouldn't be dark like Jim Beam. You're right about that. It would probably be yellow, like yellow water. Well, they probably add caramel color. So enough of that rant. Okay, now Clubhouse. Oh, well, at least they're being. Now, my friend David likes to drink this stuff. He wanted me to buy him 2 bottles. I mean, he paid me back. You understand? I'm not that generous, but he because they were $5.99 at international market. Hear me out. $5.99 for a 1-liter bottle at international market on Barron Street, Metairie, Louisiana. True story. Okay. This I know. Blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. I said they're both 80-20 blends. This doesn't state a blend ratio. All right, so I really don't know. Actually, I don't know. But I do know this. I don't think they're going to go higher than 20% straight whiskey with Heaven Hill because they like to do stuff on the cheap. And secondly, it has to be at least 20% straight bourbon or straight whiskey. So it's not less than that because they couldn't call it blended whiskey. They'd have to call it spirit whiskey. That's another category. It is an actual category, but that's another topic. I don't deal with spirit whiskey. Thirdly, they're telling you they're adding caramel color and natural flavorings. Why would you want to add natural flavorings? Well, you know why? Because when you do this 80-20 blend, it doesn't have too much flavor. It can be pretty, and it might be to mask off flavors because some of these Heaven Hill brands, they'll taste like honeydew melon and all kind of other exotic and improper. Nice little hiss there. Bottle's getting low. Somebody explained that last night why it would hiss like that. Now, there it is, caramel color. You like caramel color? All right. My friend David likes this. To me, I don't like it. I wouldn't drink this as a regular whiskey to drink every day, but I don't drink any liquor every day on a regular basis. And that's the honest truth. I'm telling you, I'm not a whiskey liquor drinker. I do not come home from work and say I'm gonna have a drink, meaning make a mixed drink. I'm not like Maud and Walter. You know what I'm saying? I have beer, yes. But that's just me. Other people love to have liquor when they get home from work. Some people are at work. Anyway, so that's the story. But if I was a regular whiskey drinker coming home after work drinking whiskey, it wouldn't be Clubhouse. Let me guarantee you that. But then again, it wouldn't be Sunnybrook either. It might be Seagram 7 Crown, which is a blended whiskey. Yes, 75-25 ratio. That's a nice one. That actually has like real merit. You know what I'm saying? Like it can stand on its own quality terms. It's not just like, well, let's look at it in the style kind of thing. They're both the same shade here, chestnut color, like that wood bark chestnut. Okay, so 7 Crown actually has merit on its own merits. You know, you don't have to like spin it. You know, we're very political in beer, wine, and liquor reviews. We'll spin it and say, well, you know, Steel Reserve Alloy Series 211 Tropic Storm is the best of the line. You know, it's really good in its class, flavored ale type thing. But then you might say, yeah, but like my friend David say, bad, stay away from it. And I said on Alcohol Legs, yes, stay away from it as a regular drinker. You wouldn't want to consume something like that on a daily basis. I don't think that would be a very good idea. But I said for tasting it, sampling it, doing a beer review, looking at it from time to time, it's fine. But he'll tell you openly, I don't like these kind of things. But then he'll say, but me, I do. But he does, so he likes to deal with them. Okay. I like them in the context of review, not everyday drinking. You understand? All right. So if you ask me, what is one blended American whiskey that you could theoretically consume every day without issue, it would be Seagram 7 Crown. I wouldn't have a problem with that. All the rest, I would have a problem with that. And I would solve the problem by never drinking them. That would have to be how I'd solve them. All right. I was going to buy some really good imperial stouts, but it was so hot I couldn't do that. Haha. Yeah, those can be a little tough in the summer. Dr. Frosty Brew. Cheers, Ron. Yeah, cheers, says Dylan Blue. Good morning, Ron. Peace symbol in sunshine, says Maxwell. Same to you. Dr. Frosty Brew. Maxwell's in the Russian Federation. He's all the way in Russia. Smiley face. Laughing to the point of crying. GNJK says clinking the mugs. And Dylan Blue says, I'm more of a beer guy myself, too. I am a beer guy. I dabble in wine. 2 ounces a day, 3 ounces a day just for my juice because I can't stand drinking juice. Okay. Liquor, I do the videos, the tastings, the liquor reviews, the taste challenges like right now. But to say I'm an everyday drinker, sorry, I'm not. I would admit it if I was. Now, I've had people make negative comments like, he's an old drunk. He lies. A cheap drunk for a cheap drink for a cheap drunk. All that. Well, whatever you want to say, I don't really care. You know, I don't answer, especially I don't answer the anonymous people that use, you know, aliases on the internet. Like I got to answer to them. I don't even know who you are, you know. But if I drink whiskey all day long, I would just tell you I drink whiskey all day long. I wouldn't care. But I don't. I drink water. I told you already, I drink 4 beers a day on my day off and 2 on a work day, which averages to about 22 a week. And I mean 22 12-ounce servings. People say, yeah, but do you drink a 40-ounce and count it as 1 beer? No. I count it as 3. 12 times 3 is 36. That's 4 over 36. And 42 is 6 over. So now that's 3.5. That's the way I look at it. But I like to be practical. Like Ronnie S. says, oh, you're very, what do you say? You're very, not regulated, not meticulous. He said I was very, something like structured. I'm trying to think the word he used. I said, it's true, I am. Not say everybody should be that way. I am. I wake up, first thing I start doing, making my bed. I can't stand an unmade bed. I go to people's house and I'm like, that would drive me nutty all day to look and see a bed that's not made. Just can't stand it. But that's me. Oh, he said regimented. I knew there was a word. I'm very regimented. Yes, I've always been that way. I think that the clubhouse is going to possibly win this one because although it is very strange, unusual, and really, if you want to get down to it, improper, like whiskey should not really taste like that. All those things being said, it is kind of a better taste. It is a better taste to me. My friend David certainly believes so, and he thinks the price is oh so very nice. $5.99 a liter. You're not going to beat that. Unless you go to Rouse's like I did Saturday and find a 1,750 milliliter bottle of Canadian blended whiskey for $5. Is that the cheapest I've ever seen? Absolutely. I was stunned. Now, somebody told me in Louisiana it's illegal to sell liquor or beer or wine for less than the cost. And I believe that law. I believe that law exists. There is no way the wholesale price for a handle of Canadian whiskey is $5. I'm not buying that. You telling me they marking it up double? Nah. I just don't think the law is enforced. Looks like a lot of laws aren't enforced in America these days, but and so they do what they want. Oh, got my nose in it. Haha. Well, that's standard. You get a little nutshell. Say nutshell. Yeah, you know, like a walnut or a pecan type thing. Is it a bad aroma over here? No. It's like a muted bourbon. Okay, it's like you took bourbon and it's washed out. No deep vanilla, no profound charred oak. It's like a washed out version of bourbon, which to some people would be good because some people find bourbon too strong in the flavor, in the aroma. So this might work. And so don't make a comment like some people make crazy comments. Don't make a comment like, well, nobody drinks blended whiskey. Right. That's why Seven Crown is one of the top 5 best-selling whiskeys in America because nobody drinks it. You know, that's why every bar you go to in America, you see Secret Seven Crown because nobody drinks it. That's kind of logic I have to deal with sometimes. Okay, this is Clubhouse, and I'll tell you why. It smells like strangeness. It's some kind of candy, lemon, orange peel. It said natural flavors. And by golly, it almost smells like they're soaking it with orange peels. Oh, could that be the case? Could that actually happen? I don't see why not. That is weird, but not bad. And actually, I don't know. Let's go with the taste. Comments. Regimented Ron. A good morning, Ron. I have about 18 a week and some whiskey, says Zach. Honestly, that's not too bad. Wow, 1,000. Yeah, 1.75 for $5. Yikes. Isn't Crown Royal a blended too, says Dylan Blue? Yes, it is. It's a Canadian blended whiskey. It's the same principle. Same principle. Blended Scotch, blended Irish whiskey. And I've had people tell me, you're wrong. It's not the same principle. Oh, I'm wrong? Okay. Well, let's look at the regulations of the various countries, and you'll see I'm not wrong. The thing that confuses people is that the terminology is different. They'll use different terminologies for the same product. Like they'll say grain neutral spirits in the United States. In Scotland, they'll say grain whiskey. column still grain whiskey. But read about grain whiskey and find out what it is, and read deeply. I don't mean, oh, I watched a 1-minute video on Chipmunk Whiskey Channel or whatever. No. You actually read. You spend an hour or 2 hours reading. I've read these Scotch websites, and what did they tell you? And I think it was Chivas Regal. Oh, we take the grain whiskey and bring it down to an odorless, colorless base. And it's like around 80% of the product. And then we add the single malts. We're adding single malt whiskey from around Scotland, northern Scotland, southern Scotland, island areas, Highlands, Lowlands, Speyside, Islay. And that gives it the rich flavor of whatever Scotch they're talking about. Oh, that's what gives it the flavor. Mm-hmm. How about that? Isn't that interesting? What gives these things the flavor? The odorless, colorless grain alcohol? I don't think so. It's the 20% straight bourbons. You say, well, they're not the highest quality bourbons. I know that. Watch that video with Heaven Hill's representative from like 3 years ago. No, it's older than that. He says, when the bourbon doesn't come out right, we blend it off. Yeah, they have bad batches. There's barrels where it's too hot, didn't get enough heat, etc. And it's like, we can't sell this as Evan Williams. It's too off, but we ain't throwing it away. We're going to blend it with grain spirits and sell it as Captain Peter's Spectacular American Blend for $6.99 a liter. Yeah, that's why it's $6.99 a liter. Because why? It's great? No, because it's flawed stuff they're blending off. Makes sense, doesn't it? Nah. Okay, that tastes like, it just tastes like regular old Jim Beam, but it's watered down. I don't know what else to say, okay? Once you get the taste for it, you got the taste for it. You don't forget it. This Sunnybrook tastes like Jim Beam that's watered down. And you know what? That's what it is, I think. It's washed out with grain spirits. It's not bad. It's not remarkable. It's neither, it's like neutral. It is neutral. You say, well, I don't care about it. I just want to mix it with Coca-Cola and drink it after work. It'll be perfect for that. You pay your $6.99 a liter, you got it. Done. 80 proof. It's not going to have any, it's going to be masked by the Coca-Cola anyway. It's perfect. Perfect for that. Who buys Sunnybrook to sit and swish around in a snifter glass talking about the characteristics of it? You know who does it? Nobody. That's the percentage of people that buy Sunnybrook to swirl around and talk about the body. Oh, it's got a medium body and the finish is semi-long. Who does that? You know how many people in the world? Nobody. Except me, and I'm only doing that for a taste challenge purpose. So does it hit the market correctly? Yeah. Does it sell? Well, yes. So that begs the question, so why do the straight bourbon people like get angry about it? You'll do that on like Alcohol Eggs or any other Facebook group. Here they come running. Oh no, I don't like it. It's not real whiskey. It's adulterated with grain spirits. So why are you worrying about it? You like straight bourbon. That's good. Talk about that. I mean, why are you worried about the underworld of liquor? You know what I'm saying? The underside. You know? I mean, are you somehow threatened? You think people are going to stop drinking straight bourbon to go drink Clubhouse? I mean, with the way the economy's going, they might. But come on, man. Get a grip. We over here talking about Imperial Stout, craft beer, and now you're going to bring up Budweiser and flip out over that because somebody drinks Budweiser. Why do you care? It's like people that are atheists. It's like they're upset all the time because some people believe in God. And they're more like missionary than the missionaries. You know, their whole purpose in life is to run around telling everybody, I don't believe in God. Okay. But why are you like feeling that you need to proselytize this? You know, you're saying these Christians always talking about God. Well, that's all you talk about. You are a bigger nag than the nags that you claim are nags. And so I run into that with Budweiser. I'm indifferent to Budweiser. I've always been indifferent. I don't care either way. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. I don't care. I just was fascinated by the people that care. It's like a crucifix to a vampire. You say, yeah, last week I was drinking Budweiser, and you hold up the glass. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's like, dude, you're 38 years old. What's going on? Your opposition to that drink should not be your raison d'etre, your reason for existence. Okay, can I tell these apart? Sure. Do they taste the same? No. Are all blended whiskeys the same? No. Do they taste the same? No. Can you tell them apart? Yes, fairly easily too, I might add. Now, I didn't say they were good. Well, I have in reviews, but I'm saying, yeah, they're clearly not the same. So this is obviously the Sunnybrook. Tastes like Jim Beam. Well, what does Jim Beam taste like? Green wood that's not totally cured, and cellar mold. Sorry, that's what it tastes like to me. Do I like Jim Beam? Yes, I do. But it has some idiosyncratic flavors and aromas. And this just tastes like a washed down version of that. Now, there's no point in saying more than that. That's it. It's obviously Sunnybrook. That is. Is this better than typical Heaven Hill blended whiskeys? Yes, I do believe it is. Because it's got this flavoring added, and I don't know what that is. To me, I say orange peels. You'd never find out. Does the orange peel, or whatever it is, tend to mask the usual unpleasant characteristics of Heaven Hill blended whiskeys? Yes, I think so. Therefore, using a logical progression to what I'm saying, I would prefer Clubhouse over the other Heaven Hill blended whiskeys if I was ever looking to drink those, which I would not be looking to do. So who wins today? Well, actually, I think it's a tie. It's a personal preference issue. If you would want to drink a blended whiskey that had an unusual orange peel character, almost marmalade, this could work. And it's very cheap. If you would want to drink an American blended whiskey that tasted suspiciously like a watered down version of Jim Beam, but yet half the price, this could work. But as far as quality, it's a tie, a draw, even Steven, and so on. And then there's no price question. They're about the same price, so you don't even have to worry about that. Would I pick one that was a penny cheaper over the other one? Yeah, that would be my only determining variable. The only variable I would choose to follow would be price. Price. Unless I collected bottles. Some people collect, bottles. So if they change the label, I would say, oh, I got to buy this for the label, something like that. I know they got people that do. But otherwise, it's a draw. It doesn't matter. Is this Sunnybrook? Obviously so. It's going to say SB when I look below. I guarantee you that. It will say SB. And it says SB. Was there any chance I was going to get that wrong? No chance at all. No chance whatsoever. That's how distinct Clubhouse is relative to other products. Does Clubhouse taste like any other blended whiskey I've ever had? No, it doesn't. Not in any way. In any way does it taste like other American blended whiskeys. It's unique from my reference point, which is trying lots of products. Have I tried the majority of American blended whiskeys? Look, I probably have not tried 1% of American blended whiskeys. That's how many they've got. It's unimaginable. Now, I didn't say they were good. I just said they got a lot of them. There's one called Wall Street, Bankers Club, Travelers Club. I mean, it goes on and on. Now, you say, well, it's all junk. Well, then there's a lot of junk. So that's it. To wrap up, Here we are at an hour. I mean, half an hour. Isn't Crown Royal a blended too? Yes, it is. And then I talked about it, and he said that does make sense there, Ron. Scruffy the janitor says, then government becomes their god. Yes, that's unfortunately the case. Howdy says Funk Shabnab. I came to a live stream once before. Last vid I watched of yours was Chilada Picante. I think this time it was Picante version. Oh yeah, the Chilada Picante is good. The Budweiser Chilada Picante. I like honey with the bee on it. I like a good Chilada Funk. Oh, Dylan Blue, definitely. Oh my gosh, I have an orange right before me. Okay, well, so that's it. 30 minutes in. This turned out exactly, and I mean exactly the way I thought it would be. Ty, thanks for watching this video production with these two. Shop price, and when you finish doing that, shop price. Jim Beam, yes.